What's up, guys? I want to talk to you today about what Arthur Hayes said. Now, if you're not familiar with Arthur Hayes, he's the founder of BitMEX, one of the large crypto exchanges. He said that the U.S. debt and inflation is going to eviscerate American savings. And what does he mean by that? So the U.S., as you know, is in trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. We are reaching about $1 trillion in just interest payments. And with the Federal Reserve hiking interest rates, that is not helping the cause. And so what is our one and only way to get out of debt as a U.S. economy, as a U.S. government? It's to print more money. Now, this would have been fine, and this has been fine over the last 15 to 20 years because the U.S. dollar has been the world reserve currency. So no matter how much money we print here, it doesn't all stay here in the U.S. And so we don't feel the hyperinflation. A lot of it goes into overseas, and you have overseas central banks holding it. You have overseas bank accounts holding it, overseas companies holding U.S. dollars as a lot of trade and obviously value, and having the dollar is needed, and it's seen as a non-risk asset. But that is changing, and we're seeing it in front of our eyes. First, you have the BRICS countries absolutely loading up on gold. You have other countries coming out and flat out saying we should depend less on the U.S. dollar, i.e. France, who's supposed to be a U.S. ally. You have Saudi Arabia getting off the petrodollar, which has been in place for over 50 years. And so as we get into the future, the next decade, the next 2 decades, the next 25 years, you're going to start seeing trade on a global level be settled on other currencies than the dollar. And so, but the problem is, as the Fed keeps hiking interest rates, the money we have to spend to pay back the interest on our debt is ever growing. And so what he's saying is the U.S. government is going to have to continue to print more money. But the problem now versus years ago is a lot of that money is not going to go overseas. It's going to stay right here in the U.S. And so what do we know? When you inflate something with a bunch more, when you flood the stores with something, prices come down. And in this case, prices would go up because a dollar would be worth less. And so that is a real issue. It's something I think about all the time. Arthur Hayes brought it to the forefront. And so what could you do as just a person living in the U.S., or if you're afraid of what Arthur Hayes is saying? Well, a lot of it is de-risking from the U.S. dollar. Now, I'm not saying go sell all your dollars. I'm not saying the U.S. dollar is dead tomorrow. But we are on our way to the hegemony of the U.S. dollar completely failing. And so what could you do? Well, tell you what I'm doing. So I'm keeping, I used to keep, let's say, 40 to 50% of my savings in cash. Because I like to have money to be able to, if I'm going to travel, or obviously for an emergency fund, if a car breaks down. But now I'm keeping a very minimal amount of money. So let's say I have $100,000 in savings. I'm keeping maybe $10,000 to $20,000 of that in dollars. And the other $80,000 to $90,000, I'm putting it in precious metals. So silver, gold, I'm putting it in Bitcoin. I'm putting it in top cryptocurrency assets. Because if the dollar does fall here in the US and the dollar loses all its value, look what happened in Argentina. Look what is happening in Argentina, right? The central bank ran out of money, so they started using customers' money. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And to think that that can't happen in the U.S., why else do you think that the U.S. is making it so hard for crypto to succeed? Because they know that if they make it easy for people to leave the dollar monetary system and move into crypto or Bitcoin, then it's going to happen faster than they can pull their pants up and get ready to fight back. And so that is what we see happening. So they're making it harder for us to get into crypto. And if we are in crypto, they're making it harder for us to get out of crypto. Because what they're seeing is people are going on exchanges, buying cryptocurrency, and they're removing those US dollars that enter that exchange. They're removing them as Bitcoin, as Ethereum, as Polygon, as Cardano into a hardware wallet. Because guess what? If the US economy crumbles and we see hyperinflation here in the US, you can take that little hard drive, which, by the way, if you don't have a Ledger or a Trezor, I recommend a Ledger just because there's a lot more coins you can store on it. Use the link in the description of this video and go get yourself a Ledger or a Trezor. We don't have a link for Trezor, but feel free. They're both really good. It helps you and it helps the channel. But by removing those, that US dollar that went onto the exchange, removing those onto a ledger, you can take that ledger anywhere in the world. And even if the dollar is worth nothing, guess what? Your Bitcoin will always be worth the same. And so that's something to keep an eye on, guys. I'm not trying to freak anyone out. I'm not saying go get rid of all your dollars. Just have a backup plan, have a game plan ready for if and or when it happens, you'll be prepared. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.